In Packet Tracer 518, we will explore numbered standard IP access control lists. Standard access control lists, or ACLs, are router configuration scripts that control whether a router permits or denies packets based on the source address in the IP packet header. In this packet tracer, we will define our filtering criteria, configure standard numbered ACLs, apply those ACLs to router interfaces, and finally verify and test our ACL implementation. In part one, we want to have a good baseline to begin before we apply any ACLs to our network. We want to confirm that we have full connectivity. To verify this, choose a PC and ping other devices on the network. You should be able to successfully ping every device. I already on PC1 pinged each IP address in the IP address table, and they were all successful. Moving on to step 2, we want to define our filtering criteria and look at our network policies. On R2, we want the 192.168.11.0 network to be blocked from accessing the web server. PC2 is in that network that we are blocking. Aside from that, we want all other access to be permitted. Let's plan that out. To restrict or block access from PC2's network to the web server without interfering with other traffic, we will create an ACL on R2 because when using standard ACLs, you want to apply the ACL as close to the destination as possible. The ACL must be placed on the outbound interface toward the web server, and that interface would be G00 on R2. In addition to the rule blocking 192.168.11, a second rule will need to be created to permit all other traffic because of the implicit or invisible deny all. That is the last line in every access list. The next policy is going to be on R3. The 192.168.10 network, which is PC1's subnet, must not be allowed to communicate with the 192.168.30 network, which is PC3's network. All other access must be permitted. To restrict access from 192.168.10 hosts to the 192.168.30 subnet without interfering with other traffic, we need to create our ACL on R3 because that is the closest router to the destination, and the ACL must be placed on the outbound interface toward PC3 to filter that traffic. That is the first rule. The second rule must be created to permit all other traffic because of the implicit deny. Now that our planning is done, in part 2, we will configure, apply, and verify a standard numbered ACL. On R2, create an ACL using the number 1 with a statement or rule that denies access to the 192.168.20 network from the 192.168.11 network. And you can either type that in or copy and paste it. Make sure if you type it in that you do use the number 1. On R2, in configuration mode, first create the access rule to block that network. And then, very important, remember the second rule to permit all other traffic. Before anything else, it's important to double check our work and make sure the access list is correct. That looks correct. Currently, this access control list is not actually filtering anything or doing anything. It has to be applied to an interface to actively filter packets. On interface G0/0 on R2, which is the interface facing the web server, go to that interface G0/0, and the command to apply an access list to an interface is the IP access-group command, followed by the access list name or number and the direction. In this case, it will be outbound toward the web server. A couple of ways to validate this is show IP interface G0/0 and then pipe to do some filtering and just include or grep access list without the dash. And that will show us we have an outgoing access list 1 applied. Another way to do the same thing would be show run and either list the section access-list, or instead of section, you could say include, which would grep any lines that contain access-list. Everything looks good on router R2, so let's move on to router R3 and create the standard numbered ACL for that one. On router R3, again, we will use access list number 1, and the first statement or rule will deny access to the PC3 network 192.168.30. Again, you can type that in or copy and paste it. This must be followed by the permit any rule to allow and not interfere with all other traffic. Just to double check that the access list looks okay, and then of course apply it to the desired interface, which in this case is again G0/0, which is the interface that is facing PC3. IP, if I just type AC and then tab completion will come into play. Access-group, what is the number, in this case 1, and what direction, and that would be outbound. To verify that, I will use the same commands as I did on router R2. Now that we have put our policies into place, it's always a good idea to make sure that they're working but not interfering with any other traffic. In step 3, I've already done the A step. On step B is some pings to verify that everything is working as designed. Firstly, a ping from PC1 to PC2 should be successful, which it is. Secondly, a ping from PC1 to the web server should be successful. The web server is 192.168.20.254. That is indeed successful. The next ping would be from PC2 to the web server. This fails as expected because of the ACL on R2. Next, a ping from PC1 to PC3, which is 192.168.30.10. fails as expected because of the ACL that was applied to R3. Finally, a ping from PC2 to PC3 should be successful because there is no packet filtering in place. That is successful, and PC3 should be able to ping the web server, and that is also successful. Going back to R2, the command show access-lists is showing that the output is indicating the number of packets that have matched each line of the access list, either being denied or permitted because of the pings that were sent. This is another way of validating the access lists are effective. That concludes this packet tracer. Thank you.